everybody. How are you guys today? It's Mackenzie from Papa's Cat Cafe, and I'm joined with Diane from Boone County Animal Care. I hope everybody is enjoying the beautiful weather outside. It's been wonderful. I know that we've certainly been enjoying it, but I gotta be honest, I'm also enjoying the book that I'm reading for book club. We have book club next week. Gotta get on it, Diane.
Yeah, I gotta get on it.
Next Wednesday, we're reading Bill Geist's Adventures in Ozark Land. So if you're interested in joining us, we're doing our second virtual book club meeting next week. And we do have a book club group you can follow along with for updates as well. Thanks to everybody who's been making donations. Sincerely, that's very kind of you, and it truly is making all of the difference. We have a rent payment coming up, and we will be able to make that rent payment at the beginning of the month. So thank you with our deepest of gratitude for you. That's why we love this community. It's a really great community. So, ladies and gents, here's what we're doing today. I think we've given people some time to tune in. There's a cat being absolutely silly back there with Michelle.
She just fell over.
Who is that?
It's Tiger.
That's Tiger, okay. Who's really come around. We were just talking about that. And that might come up again in today's conversation as we talk about fear-free handling. Our wranglers have some interesting experiences when they're handling the cats here at the cafe because they need to handle the cats for a variety of purposes. Sometimes it's moving cats from point A to point B. Sometimes we have to give cats medicine. We have to put them in cages to take them to the vet. They need to get weighed. They need to get their nails trimmed. And so depending on the cat and depending on the situation, different cats and situations require handling in different ways. But there is a new method that we're going to talk about. It's relatively new. It's been out for a few years. That is a very good method that when possible you should use it as much and as frequently as you can as opposed to traditional handling. So we're going to learn all of this from Diane today. We're even going to do a demo with some cats you haven't seen yet. So if you want to meet some new cats that you could potentially adopt, which those are going fantastically well right now, aren't they?
Adoptions are going very well, yes.
Do you want to speak to adoptions at all, or?
No.
Okay.
Don't jinx it.
No. Okay, very good. If you have put in a survey, please know that they are working very hard on that. They're just backlogged. I had someone call the cafe the other day and they're like, I put in a survey 2 days ago, and I said, I promise you they're looking at it. They've just got a long list.
We have a very long list.
Which is a beautiful problem. This is the time to welcome a family member, so very good. So Diane, can you tell us a little bit about where you learned about fear-free handling and what it is?
So the first time I ever learned about it was through Dr. Leon Tu, who was over at the Spay Neuter Project. He was their veterinarian for a while. And he used the fear-free handling techniques in all of his interactions with animals. He was amazing. And the animals responded very, very well to the techniques that he was using so that they were less scared, even though we had to do some things to them, you know, inject them with drugs and that sort of thing. And anytime that an animal is around in an unfamiliar place, they tend to be scared. So it was you know, kind of perked my ears up to learn a little bit more about these things. And then they also mentioned it at a conference that I went to last October. And so I got a little bit more intrigued about it. And since then, I've been certified as a fear-free handler.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
What's really interesting is that we've VCAC has done some of these things all along. We just didn't know we were doing it right. And since then, we've kind of amped up what we do so that we can continue in our fear-free handling and do a little bit better by the animals so that perhaps they grow a little bit faster, I guess.
So a quicker socialization.
A quicker socialization. So the one thing that we've discovered more than anything else is just because you trap a cat does not mean the cat is feral. Mm-hmm. And we knew that before.
Because when you trap them, they're going to be scared and they're going to act like a scared cat.
Right.
Which often looks like a feral cat.
Right. So
I would probably act that way too if I were trapped, right?
Right, you would. I mean, that's just nature. Mm-hmm. So we try to give those cats a little bit of time. Now, we don't have the resources to keep all the cats in traps. That's just not even possible. But like Tiger, who we mentioned earlier, Tiger was originally trapped, and if you'd seen pictures of her when we first got her, she was very scared. And she spent a little bit of time in a kennel, and then she went to a foster home where she had a room with another friend from the colony. But since then, I mean, you can tell she's changed quite a bit. She's no longer a scared cat, but she's quite
yeah.
social.
She's very affectionate.
Tiger was the one, was it a week ago we
I
introduced?
think one of the first.
And maybe 2 weeks, and that was the cat that anytime I got near her, she fled. I got really close to her today, like in touching distance, and she did not flee
She
at
didn't
all.
even look.
No, I was even spraying a table with cleaner, it didn't bother her, which is a great testament to the method.
Right.
Trying to get treats in a variety of places here.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
What do you have to do to become fear-free certified?
Take a class.
Okay.
So, the one I took was specifically for shelters, which
Sorry.
which I can apply to. That's good. I mean, I'll be very social if I eat the treats now. Which I can apply to what we do here at BCAC and also to the work over at the Spay Neuter Project. But like for general foster homes, there is an online link from fearfree. What is it? fearfreeshelters.com, and it's specifically for foster homes, and all of that information is free, so that would apply to specifically things in the foster home that would be helpful.
Excellent.
Sorry, they just kept raining down on you, and I thought, I don't know if the shelf was at an angle, but
We're just gonna eat them all, you know that, right?
no, others will get them.
Not up there.
I just realized we rarely have the camera at angles like this. And so we need to get the cats on the shelves so you guys, if you've never been here before, you can see the cool dynamic of our shelves where they kind of weave and walk around. And we've got these little cubby holes like what you see behind Diane here.
Diamond wants to know.
Diane wants another.
So the nice thing about the treats, you always see Mackenzie giving the cats treats. It's not because she wants the cats to like her, although I think there probably is that, but they call this the magic of cookies. So the magic of cookies. So they call all treats cookies, and this is just one of them. But you can actually use cream cheese or pieces
In
of
the
tuna.
fear-free handling, they call them cookies?
Yeah, they call all of these cookies. They call all of them cookies because if the cat knows that they're going to get a treat from you, even if it's after something kind of noxious like getting your nails trimmed, they'll be a lot more likely
That makes sense.
to handle that part of it just a little bit better.
That makes sense. When we were trying to train our dog to be less anxious, one of the strategies we used was to give her a treat when we left, so she'd associate us leaving the house with the treat and not with the anxiety.
Right.
Makes perfect sense.
Right.
So let's talk about, so obviously it's best for us to use methods that make an animal feel less anxious when possible, but every now and then we do need to do a little bit more aggressive handling, like scruffing. Can you demonstrate what scruffing, and this is perfect that Sylvie's here. This is the one cat that like is gonna be like, okay.
And they actually don't recommend scruffing at all anymore.
Right.
They want you to use the fear-free handling. So
But there are times when you have to.
So the old method is like you just absolutely have to get the cat. If it's under the bed and you just got to get the cat out.
Crouton, sorry.
Anyway, so if I was going to, poor Sylvie, if I was going to scruff him, I would scruff the fur on the back of his neck. And I can scruff him. He's like, "What are you doing this to me for? I'm such a sweet cat." Yeah.
Oh,
And he let me know.
see him meow?
Now, because I've never done that to him before, and
Now he's going back
and
to
he
the
doesn't,
tree.
and he doesn't even know what scruffing is. He's like, "Yeah, whatever." So
We've
just
never
give me
really
the
had to
treat or
scruff
whatever.
him because he's such a good cat.
But a better method for picking up any cat is really, and now he's very receptive to this, so I can pet him and do anything I want. But it's really to pick him up underneath his belly and pick him up this way. Now he doesn't want to be picked up right now. He wants to be put down. If I really needed to carry him from one place to the other, I would actually wrap him in a blanket and walk across the room.
And by putting him in the blanket, that darkness calms them, correct?
The darkness calms them, and it also keeps them a little bit more secure. Unlike us, we like to be hugged. Animals don't like to be hugged. That is really not their thing, for the most part.
Despite my daughter's attempt to do that with all of the cats.
Yeah, I mean, most cats are generally not like that. You do get one occasionally that likes to be hugged, but for the most part, they don't like to be hugged. The other thing is pay attention to what they actually look like. So if we need to, and Evelyn comes to mind for this, if we need to do something with a cat, you need to look at where they are, in their day, and think about yourself. There are days that you don't want to be approached. You have a hands-off across your forehead for everybody around you. Cats are the same way.
Do you guys remember that body language lesson we did a while back? Paying attention to the eyes, the ears, the tilt of the neck, the tail.
The tail. And
Are they low? Are they All of those indicators you have to pay attention to.
And whether or not, like you will see a cat, and like none of these cats are doing it here today because we want them to, but actually we don't want them to. All of these cats are relaxed. You know, their ears are forward, their eyes are small, they're looking very anxiously for you. They're coming close to us, they're rubbing against us. Those are very relaxed cats, and those are good. If the cat was crouched down low and maybe licking its lips, or not looking straight at you, or
Not like this. That's not the same.
or the ears might be back. Those cats are a little bit more anxious, and you know that's not a cat that you just want to walk up to and pet.
Right. Or you might even consider are you interrupting what they want to be doing? Like, are you trying to interact with a cat when it really just wants to be sleeping?
Right.
We don't like to be interrupted from our sleep.
And cats are actually the very same way. So it's nice here because they, you know, this is where they live, and they sleep. Supposedly cats sleep, you know, 22, 23 hours of the day.
I do. I believe it.
So if they're sleeping, they really need to be left sleeping.
And that's why people ask us why we have the rules that we have at the cafe. It's because of these needs. And most cat cafes rules related to that come from Japan, where they federally regulated it because there's so many cat cafes. You need to protect their physicality, right?
Right.
And if you are paying attention to the cat's physical needs first, then fear-free handling comes easy.
It comes very easy. And the other thing is that, so a cat that, you know, it's hard, you know, there's a lot of surfaces here, but you'll notice that there's lots of shelves for them to climb on. There are hidey holes for them to be in. That's exactly what the cats need in order to stay relaxed. They need these cubbies.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that they actually need for their physical well-being.
They need to feel like they have an escape if they want it or need it.
Uh-huh.
Or the super high shelves. Some of our really nervous cats, Charlie likes the high shelves a lot. Charlie, who's been adopted by the best adopter, spoils him to death. Charlie would hang out on the top shelves. Or Pedro, he is one of the most loving cats in the world. He's our resident cat, but he just isn't into kids. And so when we have a lot of kids in the room, he goes back into the litter room where he can hide. He is he is recognizing his needs and taking the appropriate action as opposed to lashing out. And so that all of these spots allow them to do that.
It does, and that's a very good thing for their health and being, having the places to hide. What was I going to say about that? I forgot already.
Okay, so we've talked about the use of hiding spaces in the fear-free method. We've talked about cookies, as they call it.
Cookies, yep. Power of cookies.
What's another big one you'd emphasize? And after that, I think what we might do is get out some cats. We brought some special babies for you today.
Now this is a unique situation because this is a foster home, but we have a lot of cats that, like we got today. They're not in a foster home yet. You know, we've just received them. Now the ones we're getting today actually came from another foster home, but they came from several hours away. We get cats right off the street. Those cats are very scared. What do we do with them? Well, the best thing is to set them up in a small space for a period of time and let them be. Basically, you give them everything they need, food, water, and a litter box. You cover the kennel, and then you give them space, quiet space. Now, that can vary depending on how we got the cat and what its needs are. A feral cat may actually need to be by itself for several days without any sort of extra human interaction, especially if it has babies.
It needs to see that it is in a place where it feels safe.
Where it feels safe.
Where the safety is predictable too,
Yes.
probably.
And the predictable part is very important. So if you're going to have an interaction with that cat, it needs to be at the same time every day, or approximately the same time every day, and in the same way. So
You can't be energetic one day and then super quiet the next.
right.
Ripping off the blanket off the cage one day.
Yeah, it's got to be very slow, very methodical, and thought out. You know what you're going to do. So when I go into the cat room at my house, I have a mom and cat right now. I have to think about what are the steps I'm going to take before I go into that room, and then take those steps each time, using precautions so that the mama cat does not escape, of course.
Okay, very good. before we go get the cats, I just want to let you guys know, you probably have a lot of questions related to this. I know that this was certainly something new to me, given that I am a self-declared dog person, learning to be a cat person, and definitely you've seen me make a fool out of myself in the live streams, like the notorious socks incident.
Well, that was funny.
Which one of our regulars is trying to make that video go viral. Oh, good Lord.
He made it into a gift.
He made it into a GIF. Oh, good Lord. Look at this fool. So you probably have questions, just like I have a lot of questions about strategies and techniques. So if you could put those questions in the comments, and then we will find an opportunity to scroll through before the end of this live stream to go over those. I'm gonna go get the cats out of the party room. They're in a cage right now, and maybe Diane, in that meantime, while I'm getting the cats, you could tell them about who we have today and what their story is a little bit.
Oh, the cats?
Yeah.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. So we had a volunteer go pick up some cats for us today. These cats were actually trapped outside. They're from a trailer park. That's very common in what we do. There was a small colony of cats there. We got one of the cats last week who was sick. And this week we got the other brothers, and one of the brothers is actually not feeling very well either. So they came from a trailer park. They went into and got their vetting. So they've been fixed. They got a rabies vaccinations and a feline distemper, and now they're with us, and hopefully they'll get to go to a new home.
Okay, I'm gonna have you clear off that table for me, Diane.
Take this part off.
This is a giant cage. And I am weak. I have not been doing my weightlifting. Okay, yeah, we're gonna turn this ever so slowly.
Andrew says it will happen. You will go viral.
Oh, stop it, Andrew. Okay, I'm gonna see if there are any questions that have come through. See a lot of. Thanks everybody who's tuning in. Again, drop us your questions here. Oh my gosh, this looks like a Norwegian forest. I'm sure it's not, because all of their cats are like mutts, but.
Well, so this is Samuel. He's actually related to the little girl we got last week named Rachel. And you can tell Samuel's got a little bit of eye stuff going on, so he's not feeling very good. Now, these guys are going to behave really nice for us today, because they're not always this friendly. As you can see, they're very interested in what's going on, and they want to come out like right away. That's excellent.
And so, if I could just add to that, that does tend to be the case here, simply because the cats who've been here long enough that they're chill. And so these new cats are looking around and seeing a room full of cats who are very happy. And that's not always going to be the case.
And that's
like if
also,
you're taking your pet to a vet, they go into a room where all of the animals are freaked out.
and which makes them freaked out.
Right.
So that increases their own anxiety. So if they come into a place that's very laid back, then they become laid back as well, which is very important.
Well, and
Then
how
as
many,
we,
like, a lot of cats that you guys have trapped have thought to have been feral and they've not been?
if they've not been, yeah.
More
Give 'em-
likely they were dumped or abandoned.
like Chance.
Banksy.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay, how can I help?
go ahead and take which one. Well, they both want to come out, so just,
Here, let me take one.
yeah, just reach under their belly and pick them up. And they're gonna let us hold them, which is nice.
Okay.
So they're not. So
See?
this is Samuel.
We've got our hands right here between their front legs.
Yeah, I call this the football hold because it's really easy to hold a cat this way.
And you notice you can pet them in places where most cats like to be pet, like the top of the head.
Top of the head and around the ears are where cats prefer to be petted. When you hold a cat or pet a cat, and this actually goes for dogs too, you don't want to do this. You need to leave your hand on them and
Like
stroke
constant.
them. And constant. They do much better with a constant hold than they do with the intermittent. Now these cats they're not going to be scared, which is nice. So.
But you'll see the way I'm holding this cat, it's secure,
he's
it's safe, but he's still allowed to like look around and explore and feel like he's got some independence there. Okay, he's trying to escape now. What do I do? Well, hold on, I want her to distract me.
Well, he wants to get down and play.
He does want to get down and play.
And he's not allowed to, so his other option is just to go back in his kennel.
Okay.
Now, he's actually going to go to a foster home this afternoon. where
You
he'll
want to
be-
hold him?
Yes.
Michelle's like, give me a
Where
treat.
he'll be allowed to
Give
get up-
me
to get
the
up and
cat.
play.
What's this cat's name?
This
Peter.
is- Yes, name's Peter.
And Peter is maybe going to find a family soon.
Yeah.
There's somebody already interested in sweet Peter.
Yeah, isn't that wild?
Okay, and what's this cat's name again?
This is Samuel. Samuel, we know that
very
Samuel and
thoughtful.
his sister are about 8 or 9 months old.
Okay.
I actually don't know about Peter, and I'll have to look at his mouth. He's got a mat right here.
So, if you had to do something to a cat, like I know we have a long-haired tortie at home who does have an insane amount of tortitude. Oh my word. And she gets a lot of mats, and she does not like it when we have to get those mats out. And I will be honest, there are times when we've handled that situation in a way that is not fear-free, where like one of us holds her down and the other takes the scissors to it. In this case, can you show us what would be a fear-free method for trying to get mats out of a cat? That because it hurts when you get them out.
So,
it pulls on their skin.
You know, it sort of depends on the cat too, and what they'll tolerate. Now he's brand new, so I can see that he's got mats, but I'm not gonna do anything about it.
Because you don't want to damage his trust in you initially.
Because I don't want to damage his
Okay.
trust in me. I want to build up that trust first before I really start doing things to him. So give him treats, give him wet food, cheese if he likes it. Sometimes, spread cheese, cream cheese, tuna, and then worry about the rest of it. And I would start just by combing him, just with a slicker brush, just to see if he tolerates it, and stop frequently and give him treats.
Mm-hmm.
So that he associates this with, something good.
I have seen for the dog again. There's this mat that you can get that's textured and you can spread treats on it, like for dogs peanut butter. And then the idea is that you put the dog on a leash by it and they lick the peanut butter while you trim their nails. So it's like they're totally distracted. I am certain something like that would work for a cat. The creamy wet food that we had yesterday that they were going bananas for.
Yeah.
That would work.
Seems like it. See, it would be worth trying anyway.
And that would be a fear-free approach as opposed to what we sometimes do with our long-haired cat. Stay.
Yeah, sometimes. So,
But she loves us anyway.
So cats. He might even let me do this. So cats, like he's just being here, being chill, and I can kind of work my fingers underneath the mat.
Michelle, save the camera.
And if he's on my lap long enough, I might be able to get my fingers under the mat and just pull it out. I have
Once you've gotten him to be comfortable and relaxed enough.
one of my own personal cats at home, I can do that with. If I bring out the brush, she takes off, but she'll sit on my lap for literally hours, so I can just play with her and get my fingers underneath the mat while I'm stroking her and just pull the mats out with my fingers. She's okay with that. She'd much rather me do that than use a brush. So it just kind of depends on the cat, figuring out what works best for them.
Very nice. Okay.
This is a chill cat.
He is chill, and this is a cat that would have been considered pretty aggressive when it was trapped.
Actually, I don't know what he was like when he was trapped. I just know he was trapped.
Okay.
Yeah,
He's
and
beautiful.
probably the cat I should have brought today was Chance, because Chance was trapped and dumped. And, everybody thought he was feral, so he went and got fixed. He has the ear notch.
Was he considered feral because he was so crazy town in the cage?
He was very scared. So, and, he was intercepted by somebody. Somebody trapped him. Another person, Good Samaritan, intercepted the trap because he was just going to be dumped in the country, and then he, by way of another rescuer, came to me. He spent a couple months at my house being very scared, and then one day, because we worked with him every day, but you have to go very slow with scared cats. And one day he let us know that he was ready to be our friend, and he did that himself. He just very slowly reached over and put his paw on my husband's arm. Yeah, that was his signal. He was like, you know what? I trust you guys. I'm ready. And a couple of days after that, he was just walking around the room, and he flopped over, and he's never been the same cat since. He's like,
It was like a light switch. He had his aha moment with the humans who are caring for him.
and he's been here. I mean, he's
Mhm.
been
For-
in
for events,
He
yeah.
does terrific. I mean,
He
he
does.
walks into the place and he owns it.
But that's a cat that, for example, there are high kill shelters in our area, would have been at risk of being euthanized.
Yes. Yeah, it's very, very sad.
And if we could talk just briefly, very briefly, about the definitions between domesticated, community cat, and feral, because there is some misunderstanding and discrepancy. So a domesticated cat is a cat that's only known the lush life, right?
Yeah.
Like, has always been in a home,
Has always been at home.
doesn't
An
know
old cat.
outdoor life. Then a community cat is slightly different. Michelle, I need you to save the.
So we call any cat that is outside, whether it be stray or feral, a community cat. If that's where they live, they're called a community cat.
But then they become feral when it's like multi-generations, like their mama and their mama and their mama's been outside.
Right.
And it's like deeply ingrained in them.
Right. The longer they've been outside, the more likely it is that they cannot be tamed.
But if it is a cat that is not multiple generations living outside, there's a chance for socialization. We've had that
Right.
happen.
Right.
Where it's only 1 or 2 generations back.
We actually have a couple of kittens, they're about 6 months old, that we picked up a few days ago that we're not going to return right away. We want to see if we can tame them. They're kittens, they're only 6 months old, and they're giving us signs that they might like to be socialized. One of them howls. I mean, like, feral cats don't howl, they're very, very quiet.
They want to hide. If it's true feral cat, it hides. Unless you trap it, right? And then it's aggressive.
Kinda. I mean, not all feral cats are aggressive, but
True, yeah.
they're just scared. They're just very, very scared. Wily.
When you think about feral cats that you see out in the community, they hide behind dumpsters, behind trailers. They want to not be seen, right?
It's a survival.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even a stray cat will do that.
Yeah.
Especially if they haven't had a good interaction with a person.
Right.
So.
And you have tamed feral cats before, but
yeah.
and a lot of people think that's not possible, but it is possible. But you have to go slow, and a lot of groups aren't able to do that because of capacity limits. It's very difficult to have the time and the space
Right.
to do that.
Resource-wise, it's just not feasible to try to tame every feral cat.
And so that's why trap neuter release is so big, right?
Right. I mean, that's the best that you can do for the cats in your community is to get them fixed and then put them back out as long as they have a caretaker that can take care of them. A lot of the cats that we see are very healthy.
And happy being outside.
They're just living outside.
Yeah. And if they've got there are lots of people who have neighborhood cats, like 3 or 4 neighborhood cats, and they'll take care of them. But it's best still if they're trapped, neutered, and then brought back to you.
Right. And if they're neutered, they're a lot, I mean, besides the fact that they're not going to reproduce, they're much healthier that way. And they don't have as many bad behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not as many territorial disputes that will run the risk of killing them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But
A lot of that disappears.
But this group has very high success with taming and socializing even the most challenging of cats. And I think that's really a testament to the time you guys take. You don't rush it. Some of the cats take more than a year. It's true. I mean, Cremette, our little wonder story here at the cafe, and we've talked about that's why we don't switch out rescue groups here at the cafe. You can't have a cat like Cremette make the progress in a year's time if they have to go, right?
Oh, look at how Paul and Peter, I mean, incredible strides.
Those cats were here, 6 months?
It seems like it was longer than that.
But still, that's a long time. And it's really hard for any group in our community to have the resources for that. That's why a cat cafe and its stability is so important. We're like a giant foster home that would give the cats as much time as they need. And then they really turn around. Look at this sweet baby.
He's like, but I want to get down and play. And I said, no, you can't get down and play.
He's so sweet. He does look like a Norwegian forest. We do a cat academy lesson on the different cat breeds, and that's one of my favorite ones. I'm gonna get up and see if there are any questions here.
He reminds me of
I'm
Lady
gonna
Di.
put him back in his kennel though.
Ryan's favorite kitty.
Lady Di, she was a dog. Yeah.
Who's the ginger kitty in the cage? Someone wants to know the name again.
Peter?
Peter.
He looks like a mini sunrise.
Thanks for everybody who's tuning in. Oh no, Andrew put the link to the. Thanks, Andrew.
Oh, I
Make
can
a.
see this now.
Stop it.
That's funny.
Okay, so you have a handout there. Is there anything you want to share off that handout?
So this was, oops. This was one of the handouts.
This is the cat that I tried picking up the other day and it went berserko on me. So we've got
FAS. Yeah, so FAS is
I'm gonna get it close.
fear, anxiety, and stress and frustration. So those are like 3 different levels of fear, anxiety, stress, and frustration in cats that they're looking for So mild, and we talked about this briefly, so mild, they would be very
I'm gonna get
relaxed.
close with that
They
one.
could be sleeping, their tails are gonna be up.
Oops, sorry.
They're going to want to interact with you. The cats in the middle, we see quite a few of those cats when they first come here. They're leaving their foster home, they're not really sure about this new place. They tend to be a little bit more reserved. They might lick their lips. They're gonna sit in a very small, close little ball. They're gonna watch things. Ray, who I think who was out and about earlier today, but she actually was like that for several weeks, hiding in the back litter room. And then the worst, the most severe would be the cats up at the top, and they hiss, their tails are down. They really don't want anything to do with anybody. Sometimes cats that come here can be like that when they first get here because they're just so angry that they've left their foster home.
But that's a different situation. That's a cat that loved where it was. And it was in a good place so in terms of socialization. And they just didn't want to change in that location.
Is Lucius still in isolation?
Yeah.
So Lucius would be a really good example of that. He didn't actually do this, but the first day that he came, he was very, very scared, and he actually tried to beat up his little buddy named Pinky, who was super sweet. And so we put Lucius by himself in the kennel and left him there for a few days. Now yesterday, he was much better with Michelle and was looking for attention. He's still not too sure about all the other cats, but he's doing much better.
He wanted out, but as soon as another cat approached, he hissed and started growling. Like
Yeah.
when I put pre-met next to him in the kennel, a separate kennel, not the same. Yeah, Lucius was hissing and growling and not happy at all.
Yeah, it's hard to get a cat to accept, well, in that particular case, we've had Lucius and Pinky for almost 2 years now. We got them as smaller kittens, and they've been in basically one foster home like their whole life. Well, they can get really used to being in the foster home they're at, and then when they go somewhere else, it's very difficult to adjust to a new place. So he will adjust, it just takes time. In a home, another technique, instead of working with them, I mean, you can use toys. You can use toys to work with them. In my house, I tend to just ignore them. I mean, they're out and around. I figure if they want my attention, they can come to me. And it does, that technique does work for some cats. It does not work for all cats. So
It worked for Hank with me.
It just kind of depends on the cat. Now, if the cat is, over hiding somewhere all the time, then ignoring them is not going to work.
Crouton's so graceful.
Crouton, are you graceful?
There are 4 cats trying to get at this cat answer right now. Where's our laser pointer? Our laser pointer.
It died a long
I
time ago.
know. We can't keep them.
Nobody ever replaced it, I don't think.
I
So-
know.
So cats that are really, really scared, like Lucius, if they're not going to respond to treats, like the first day after he was transitioning, we tried to give him some treats, and he sniffed at them, but he really didn't want anything to do with them. So when you try them, it's a 2-second rule. You give them 2 seconds, 2 tries to see if they'll respond to you, and if not, you just leave them alone and come back again at another time. Playing with a toy might be an option to see if you can get them just interested in playing with you.
And mentally following is a way for use with Puff.
Yeah, it works with any cat. Plus, it will also help them. Once he's comfortable coming out, even if he just stays in the litter room for a while, playing with a toy with other cats in the room. That's also very helpful. That's where the laser comes in handy because they get so lost in looking for the laser that they
Don't
start
realize
thinking
where they're
about being scared.
Yeah.
And he's scared just like. Have you ever been the new kid in the school? It's the same kind of. You've never been the new kid.
I went to the same school.
You want
K
somebody
through
to
12.
be your friend, and if somebody's willing to step up and be like, "We got you. This is a cool place to be."
Yeah, when Mika.
That's why these guys, when they first came in, they were like, "Okay, we're gonna be fine here. Look at all these guys."
Yeah.
One Pedro's really great about.
That's why Cat Cafe has resident cats. We've got 2 cats that show the newbies the ropes. They've now seen 108. Whoa, you can't walk off with it, Crouton. I've seen 186 cats circle through. They know how to welcome newbies.
That's right.
I will say,
And
not all cat cafes do well with residents, but ours are really good.
It probably depends on the resident cat. They
What's that?
need to have a certain personality.
Yeah, for sure.
And I would think need to be younger, on the younger side to like be able to deal with it. And
Socks is like a
maybe-
dog. He was doing tug of war here with this.
Oh, he'll drag that whole thing around the room.
Yeah, oh, we saw one day. Look at this. He's playing tug like a dog. If you want a cat who's like a dog, whoop, I almost
No.
got you in the face with that. Sorry.
Yeah, see, that's, you know, a lot of cats do not like to be picked up, as Mackenzie found
Watch out. You
Yes.
might have a fan coming on your head.
That's a heavy fan too.
Sorry,
You might
Diane.
want to scooch.
It's okay.
This has suddenly gotten dangerous. Okay, is there anything else you want to share with people about fear-free handling? Any misconceptions, misunderstandings? And I'm going to see if there are any questions that have popped up. Let's see. Somebody says scared cats just need time and patience. Yeah. Okay, looks like we've got no questions, but that's okay.
It's okay.
I hope that you guys have really benefited from this. You'll see our wranglers using a lot of these strategies when they have to do the weights and the nail trims. Every now and then, though, you'll see a wrangler have to scruff a cat, and people ask, are you hurting the cat? And the answer is no, but please know that before we have tried to scruff a cat, we have tried the other methods, and then we're in an instance where we really need to get that cat moved, and we don't have a half an hour to wait. But we try not to. And usually we're
Slow
pretty
is better.
successful.
Slow
Usually,
is better, less is more.
Yep. When possible, we try to get them to trust us like this. But every now and then. Right now we've got a cat who has an. Are you walking off with a crouton?
Yeah, he's like
Can you
mine.
get? That was less than graceful. That's twice now crouton has done that. Smooth. Yeah, there's a cat that has a sore mouth, and she's currently choosing to self-soothe. She's going to the vet tomorrow, I think. She's choosing to self-soothe by laying under a blanket where nobody can see her. And I didn't know that, and so I went to move the blanket, and there was a cat in there. She's hiding under it just so that she can be left alone by humans and other cats. And if you see a cat do that, let them do that. Look at that. They won't try to run off with it. Okay. Okay, I think that's going to be our live stream for today. We do have an adoption that should be happening here soon, yes?
Yes.
Very good, very good. And my daughter spoiled it. We're going to leave it be a surprise. It's one we've been waiting on. She spoiled it in yesterday's live stream. If you didn't have a chance to watch it, yesterday's live stream was bananas. Bananas. As the cats were like swarming us like sharks while we tried to make tuna treats. Oh my goodness. Okay, that's all I have to say. Thanks for everybody who's been putting in adoption forums. We are just amazed at how quickly they're going to be coming through. And again, thank you so much for everybody who's made a donation to the cafe so that we can try to stay afloat during this time. Very good. Thanks, everybody. Bye. Bye.
Thanks, Mackenzie.